Greetings, brothers and sisters. We are looking into the book of Galatians together in this interactive study we're doing. Welcome to the new people, and we're looking this week at some absolutely terrible news. The news is that you and I are under a curse. Galatians 3:10 says, "Cursed is everyone who does not continue to do everything written in the book of the law." In other words, the law requires perfect obedience. It says everything written in the book of the law. And it requires perpetual obedience. We must continue to do it. Perfect, perpetual obedience, or a curse. I don't know about you, but that condemns me. I feel unworthy. Like I don't measure up to God's standard. I remember living for decades in the lusts of my flesh, thinking I am just under a curse from God. That's a terrifying thought. And the curse means total banishment from God's presence and complete destruction. Zechariah chapter 5 verses 3 and 4 says, "This is the curse that's going out over the whole land." The whole land, universal curse. "Every thief will be banished. Everyone who swears falsely will be banished. The Lord Almighty declares, I will send the curse out, and it will enter the house of the thief and the house of anyone who swears falsely by my name. It will remain in that house and destroy it completely." So you and I are under a curse because of our disobedience, which means we are banished from God's presence, and we will be completely destroyed. Think about it. You know, this is why the law has such appeal to our old nature. Because if we could just obey it, we would escape the curse. In other words, if we're cursed for our disobedience, well, let's just change that and start obeying God, and we'll be free from the curse. So here we are, trying to obey God to escape the curse. Well, then we get more bad news. In Galatians 3:11 and 12, it says, "Clearly no one who relies on the law is justified before God, because the righteous will live by faith." The law is not based on faith. On the contrary, it says, listen to this, "The person who does these things will live by them." Oh, great. And it begins to dawn on us. We have not done these things perfectly. We cannot quite cover over our mistakes through perfect obedience. Our covering of works is full of holes. Now, I read one time that the Emperor of Brazil had given the Queen of England a dress made of spider webs. It literally took 17,000 spider webs to make this dress. What an amazing thing. What a curious dress that was. But that dress is like our attempts at obedience. It doesn't cover us. It certainly can't stand the storm of God's wrath. So here we are, knowing we're under a curse, covered in the spider webs of our own attempts at obedience. What can be done? Is there no other way? Is there a solution in sight? And then we read the next verse. Verse 13, Christ took away the curse the law put on us. He changed places with us and put himself under that curse. It is written in the scriptures, and he's quoting from Deuteronomy 21, anyone whose body is displayed on a tree is cursed. Notice the word displayed. You know, when you walk by a store, you might see a display. And they put that display there because they want you to look. Well, Jesus was displayed on a tree so that we would look. We're to see him wearing a crown of thorns. Thorns is associated with the curse. Thorns came up on the ground when the earth was first cursed, and Jesus is wearing that curse for you, even as he is bearing your sin in his body on that tree. And just ask the question, why is he removing the curse from you? And verse 14 gives you the answer. Christ did this so that God's blessing promised to Abraham might come through Jesus Christ to those who are not Jews. That means you and me. Jesus died so that by our believing, we could receive the Spirit that God promised. Don't you just breathe a little lighter? Don't you just have a burden lifted off? All nations on earth were blessed through Abraham and his descendant. When Jesus died to remove the curse and to bless us with his Spirit. The cross is the complete removal of your curse completely, and it's the giving to you of a real blessing, God himself living in you by his Spirit. Question for this week. Have you been living as if you could be right with God through your obedience? Or are you fully trusting and relying on the cross to do that for you? I look forward to hearing from you.